Well, hello there, everyone. How you doing on this manic Monday? Yes, it's Monday, May the 1st, the year 2023. Time flies by. If you just found my channel, welcome. I appreciate you being here. And if you follow my channel, please subscribe, like videos, and always comment if you so desire. And my email is always in my description. My email is my channel name, mazkefinance@gmail.com. If you email me, I'll give my apologies up front. I may or may not be slow to respond. Sometimes I am. My life gets busy at times because I try to love life the best I can, which means sometimes I'm not forgetting about any of you, but I might be out there doing something, traveling, flying, doing something. Who knows? So with that being said, what I want to talk a little bit about today is the importance of just taking that first step. That first step. Okay? It's harder than it looks, but it's easier than you might think it could be. All right. So with that being said, I am Mazske Finance. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an attorney. I'm definitely not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. Okay? I'm just a guy, blue collar, that did not make a lot of money in his life, but he got started, and now he's a multimillionaire. Okay? I'm in the process of figuring out my net worth and that sort of thing. And yep, I'm a multimillionaire. Okay? What do I mean by that? I have a net worth of at least $2 million. Okay? That's what that means. That doesn't mean, if you're new to my channel, that I have $2 million sitting in the cash and I can just break out the big bucks. My money is in assets. I own single family homes. I own mineral rights acreage. I have an investment in oil drilling. I have some stocks. They're in assets that pay me royalties. Okay? So what do I mean by just getting started? Just by taking that first step. Some folks might be intimidated to invest in real estate. Folks are intimidated at times to invest in stocks. But sometimes in real estate, it's bigger. It's a bigger deal. Because now you're buying a house. And everybody knows how stressful it is to buy your first house, right? So how are you going to buy a rental property? You can barely pay your own mortgage. How are you going to buy a rental property? But what I'm saying is, and I can't say it all just in one video, but where there's a will, there's a way. Okay? Side note real quick. If you want to think better, studies are starting to show this. This is something new they're studying and starting to show this. If you want to think better, have a better, more productive mind, you really need to eat better. Okay? A little side note, it'll take about a minute. We have something like 39 trillion bacteria in our gut. Okay? They're all over us. They're in our nose, they're in our mouth, they're on our skin, they're on our cheeks, they're on our fingertips. They're all over us. They, if you keep them happy, can keep us happy. If you feed the bad boogers down there, the bad little guys, they will feed the bad stuff in us, like that inflammation, that dreaded inflammation that leads to Alzheimer's, cancer, dementia, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high diabetes, etc., etc., etc. Inflammation is the root cause behind everything. How do we get inflammation? It's our lifestyle, our diet, and our lifestyle. If you look at the average American, has 65% of their diet is ultra-processed foods. I eat almost zero ultra-processed foods. There's other people that eat zero, which means the average American is eating more than 65% of ultra-processed foods. If you cannot read the ingredients on the nutrition label, if it comes in a box and it's different colors, there's fake stuff in it. If you use artificial sweeteners in your coffee because it has no sugar, you're just adding to the bad stuff in your body. You know, it's common sense, but we're overwhelmed, we're bombarded with marketing from the food companies that make this stuff. They try to sell it to us and it's killing us. Obesity, diabetes, heart problems, they're rampant, the numbers are going up and they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay? So, but the studies are showing if you eat healthy, you keep your mind healthier. Mental illness is rampant. In prisons, there's some prisons somewhere where they have changed the diet of prisoners. Violence has decreased. Prisoners are being more productive because they're eating better and they're now thinking clearer. Okay? If it works for the prisoners, it'll work for you. All right? So if you want to get involved with real estate investing, first of all, start eating healthier and add some exercise to your life, some movement, and then let's take action. Let's take that first step. How do you take that first step? Number one, if you want to buy real estate, there's a couple number ones. You got to figure out, where do you want to buy real estate? Do you buy it where you live? Do you buy it somewhere else? If you live on the West Coast, you live on the East Coast, it might be expensive where you live. Can you buy it somewhere else? But where you live at, can you buy a duplex, triplex, or quadplex? I say those three sizes because you can get financing for them as an individual. And if you're going to live in the unit, if you're going to buy that duplex, triplex, or quadplex and live in one of those units, the lender may or may not count that income from the other units towards income from you for you buying the property. Okay? Talk to your lender about that. Talk to a variety of lenders about that. See what they tell you. Talk to Jerry Padilla or his assistant Melissa at Prime Lending. My playlist, Interview with Others. I have an interview with Jerry Padilla from Prime Lending. His phone number is there. It's in the description, or his email's in the description or something. He can give mortgages almost in all 50 states. Okay? Talk to them, email them about it. See what they can do for you. Because if you could buy a duplex or a triplex to live in, and your tenants are paying the mortgage for you, you don't have to pay the mortgage. And you have more money. And you can save it to buy another rental property. You can do like I did. Say you're a little bit older and you've paid your mortgage down on your primary residence. Maybe you get a HELOC. Don't mortgage it to the hilt and get a HELOC for $200,000. Stay small. Keep yourself in check so you don't go overboard. I got a HELOC in late 2016, early 2017 for $30,000. I knew what prices were in Indiana, and I knew I knew what prices were in Virginia, and I knew I needed some assistance in the down payment. A $30,000 line of credit, home equity line of credit, helped me to get started. I had maybe $30,000 in the bank, $25,000 in the bank. I didn't want to use all my cash to buy that first rental property, so I used a HELOC to help me out and pay 80% of the down payment for me. Okay? There's other ways you can get started. Maybe you have the Rich Uncle Bob. Maybe you go to a real estate meetup group and there's some investor who can help you. Maybe you have somebody that you can partner up with. But I caution you on partnerships, because friendships have been destroyed because of partnerships. Okay? But you got to take that first step. If you're still watching my channel and still watching me, you've taken a step. It's not the first step, but you've taken a partial step. Okay? Because if you learn how to do it, sometimes you got to jump. I have known people that spin their wheels. I've known people that buy one or two rentals and spin their wheels. They get stuck. I know people that get stuck in analysis paralysis and they spin their wheels. They don't take the plunge. You will hear investor after investor say, it's always time for a great deal. You got to buy a great deal. Don't buy a good deal. Definitely don't buy a bad deal. Don't buy an alligator. You got to buy great deals. I will say something slightly different. I don't want you buying a property that will lose money, okay? But let's say you work a job and get a decent paycheck and you have extra money coming in. Sometimes it's better to get a first deal that's not making the biggest bucks just to get started. Okay? Now I caution you, if you don't have a lot of extra money, do not buy a deal where you're going to lose money. Don't do that. But let's say you're barely breaking even. Okay? As long as your mortgage pays your rent pays your mortgage and you're breaking even, you're okay. And as long as your paycheck has enough extra, because what if it goes vacant and you don't have enough money saved up for your vacancies, repairs, and capital expenditures? You got to have enough in your paycheck to pay it, okay? Or pay for repairs, or pay for a roof, pay for a furnace, okay? But sometimes, as I said, I don't want anyone to take the wrong path, do the wrong thing. But sometimes you just got to jump. Okay? I messed up buying my first rental house. I made mistakes, but I still own that rental property. It's the very first one I bought, and I still own it. It's cash flowing, but I made mistakes when I bought it. If I had never bought it, I wouldn't have got my second because I got to get my first. You got to get started and get your first. Okay? You got to get started. You got to take that first step. It's like when I joined the Navy. That little guy up there, there's no rank on his arm. When I joined the Navy, I enlisted, I was an E1. Okay? I'm now retired as an E7. All right, that's chief. But I retired from the reserves, not active duty. 9 years, 6 months, 10 days active duty. The rest was in the reserves. Okay? So if I had never taken that first step, what would I have done? What would I have done? Okay? You just got to get started. You got to take that first step. I know I'm beating a dead horse here. I'm saying it over and over again. So how do you, but the other option, the last option, I'll get off here, is you save up the down payment. You save it up. Okay? You got to have a savings account. Sock away every penny you can spare. Put it in the bank where you get interest. I personally use a bank called Wealthfront. They will pay, a new account will pay 4.3%. If you refer someone else, you can get boosted up to 4.8%. If the Fed raises rates on Wednesday, that rate may go higher than 4.8, it may go up to 5 or something. Today's the first of the month. I logged into my Wealthfront account. I got a chunk of interest credited to my account, 4.8%. It's kind of nice. As my little pot gets bigger, the income gets bigger. Okay? So if you're getting 0.25 in your local credit union, reevaluate. You know, Wealthfront's an online bank, but 4.8% beats it, and they got FDIC insurance up to $2 million. Okay? So they seem safe. I've had an account with them for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years. Okay? So anyway, you got to get started some way. You can get creative as you want, or you can just work, get a paycheck, put it in the bank, save it up, and use it as a down payment. Okay? But you got to take that first step. That's the important thing, but that's the hardest thing in the world for some people to do. I wish the best for you. Reach out to me if you got any questions. All right. So take care of yourself. Stay safe in all you do. And Maskey's signing out.